white glove service. We're going to talk about that today. In the financial services and insurance industry, this is something that is very rare in my opinion. So this video is meant for people in the industry or business owners, because frankly, if you do this, treat your clients like kings and queens, that white glove service to everyone, you will grow a business. I don't care what industry you're in, you will thrive, you'll do extremely well. In the insurance industry, your opportunity is huge because this, I don't want to say doesn't exist, because there are people out there that take their business very, very seriously, very professional. I've met a lot of people, but the majority do not. And often it's not their fault. The training is next to nothing there as far as communication and how to actually run a business, right? We've got to treat people right, do to others as we would want done to ourselves. So we're going to touch on a number of topics here of how to provide this white glove service, which will grow your business over time. Here's the first thing: transparency. Things are not that transparent today. Information is out there everywhere, but to find information, it can be very difficult for individuals, and getting straight, clear, transparent answers is not easy. So if we can be a source as an agent, as a business owner, to provide upfront answers, you can do a ton of good for your clients. They'll love working with you. Your business will grow greatly over time as well. So number one thing here, answer questions. If someone has a question, make sure we directly answer it. And if we can answer it quickly and concisely, do so. If it requires more, that's okay, but make sure we are directly answering the question. Do not beat around the bush. We do not want to do that by any means. For example, is my policy maximized for cash value? Yes or no? Well, yes, that's the answer I would give them, but is my policy designed for maximum cash value? Because what they might not tell you is they're shopping elsewhere too, and if they've seen better quotes, better examples, or find out after the fact, they're asking you this question: is my policy designed for maximum cash value? If it's not, then they're going to think either we lied to them or we don't know what we're talking about, and then we lose that potential relationship. We don't want to do that. So is my policy designed for maximum cash value? That question comes up all the time. So the answer is yes. We want to make sure either beforehand or with this process, we provide education to show them how a policy can be designed for maximum cash value. So if I'm going to pay any amount of money into a whole life insurance product, where can my money go? The insurance premium, which I'll often refer to as the initial insurance expense, or I can pay it toward the PUA rider, which I'll refer to as a cash dump it. So what I want to understand, if I'm you, so Mr. Client, if I'm you, I want to understand where my money is going to know that it is designed for maximum cash value. Money can go where? Toward these two areas. Dollars that go toward the premium do not build cash value, typically in the first and second year. The reason why is the company will overcharge me for the death benefit up front. Dollars that go toward the PUA component, let's say I pay the same $1,000 in, it shows up in cash value. This is money I can access. It begins to earn the guarantees, plus any dividend starts to accelerate right off the bat. I see it there, I can use it, makes the policy look oh so much better. It does buy me some death benefit, but the purpose is again to maximize the cash value component. So with this said here, back to the question, is my policy set up for maximum cash value? Well, yes. What are the limits? How low can I set that minimum premium? You'll find with a lot of the top companies, your major mutual companies, can get right around this. They're not all a clean 1090, but often we can drive that premium down to about 10% of the total desired payment. What that means is if I want the ability to pay in $100,000 per year, I can have a minimum premium of $10,000 and then add more funds to the PUA component up to a total of $100K per year. And again, some companies let you go lower than that. Some are a little bit higher than 10%. That's where I want to understand each company there. So let's go back to this guy. Answer questions directly, provide information where needed. So we kind of touched on this. Establish awareness, got to do that. Build awareness as far as how a product can be set up, different companies, answer questions that they ask, answer questions that they do not ask, right? I want to know that whoever I'm working with understands that product in and out. Very important. Providing information. Application, putting things in action and showing options with different companies, different products. Prevent buyer's remorse. Transparency will prevent buyer's remorse. If I don't show you something and then you found out after the fact that it exists, in your mind as the consumer, I'm not that transparent with you. I want to make sure I show it, discuss it, put the options in writing, put it in PDF, put it in video content. That way you have it available. Must be transparent. Another thing I like to be transparent on is compensation. How are agents compensated? Meaning if you purchase a policy with me or go direct to the insurance company, does it perform at a higher rate if you go direct to the company? No, it actually performs the same. Meaning if you buy a policy through an agent, the company pays me a commission for bringing them business they otherwise would not have had. Now, with that said, what does impact the performance and the compensation greatly is the policy design. So if we go back to that policy design, money can go toward premium or the PUA component. What does the premium do to your cash value in the first year? First and second, actually, in that example? Nothing shows up in cash value. Guess where I, as an agent, am heavily compensated? The bulk of compensation comes on whole life insurance products in the first year on base premium dollars. So it's good to understand that. And again, not everyone wants to know that, but I'd want to know it if I'm the consumer. Nothing wrong with showing it. So a couple things there. Be transparent is the main thing. As we continue on here, communicate. This is very, very important. With communication, do not use industry terms or lingo. Here's what I mean. If someone receives a medical rating at an insurance company of a table B with no waiver of premium, no additional riders are available, and it's due to these reasons that are a bit confusing to you as the agent when you read them, what happens in this industry all the time is an agent sees that and says, okay, and they forward it to the client, whether not the client yet, the prospect, and say, hey, you received a bad rating, and here's the reason why. And the client gets it and says, okay, this looks like Latin to me, I can't understand it, and now I'm getting frustrated, like you told me I got a bad rating, I feel I'm healthy, these things don't make any sense to me because they don't make any sense to the agent, but as the agent, that was the issue right there. We can't get frustrated at underwriting in companies. When we get that information, we need to take a deep breath, slow down, absorb it, understand it, ask for help, either the company, if they frustrate you to death, can reach out to us with our Agent Academy. That's the kind of stuff we go over and provide support around, but we must understand it. And you do not want to use confusing terms. That's what I should change that word to, confusing terms with a client. It never works out well. Or they say okay, and they think and wonder about it, and you're not that go-to source that is crystal clear. We want that. Clarity. Be very clear in communication. If something is not clear, ask, does that make sense? We can go over it again. Perhaps it's better to use visuals. Don't be casual. Casual leads to casualties. We don't want to do that. Casualties meaning we'll lose the deal. Don't be casual in your communication. Take it very seriously. Focus on the client, not competition. This one is huge in the industry. The insurance industry and financial services industry specifically, we see it happen all the time. The instant a competitor, company name, or firm is mentioned, the agent automatically goes on defense and says everything bad about that other company. The client doesn't care about that. The client cares about what they want to accomplish with their money going into the product. So we want to make sure we clearly communicate that. Tell you what, if you can always stay focused on your consumer, looking at their objections, their questions, what they want to accomplish, set the best policy possible up for them, you'll do well. If you get caught up in this war with focusing on competition, that's where we get frustrated, and I'll use the term, you begin to lose yourself, just spiraling downward, focused on that. Doesn't do anyone any good. In competition, they all do it to each other nonstop, and as a result, a lot of agencies stay small. Yeah, they see growth, but it's not exponential growth. It's not like Amazon or anything like that. Keep records, video and written, meaning if we are communicating anything with an agent, I'll give you an example here with a client. If I am communicating how to design a policy for maximum cash value, and I'm going over flexibility features with MassMutual, Guardian, and perhaps a third company, and 2 products with each company. That's a lot, right? That's 6 different options. I do not want to say, hey, let's connect over a Zoom call and talk it all through, because that'll make sense. And it likely will make sense, especially if you've been in the business for a while, because you're going to communicate it effectively to that consumer. The thing is, no matter how good you are, what's going to happen after that meeting ends? How much will the consumer, the client, remember of what you guys went over? Not a whole lot. How much do you remember from the last meeting you had with your doctor or other professional? Not a whole lot if you think about the hour-long meeting. Like we went through a lot of details. I only remembered a couple bullet points. However, if I have a quick sheet, which could be in writing, maybe I put a recording together and send them a personalized recording going over everything, that's another great option there. Have a written record, send it to the client or prospect. That way they see everything up front, hear everything, and can reference it as many times as they like. Make things as convenient as possible for them. So now you, the agent, have to take extra steps to make life easy for the client, but that's what it's about. If you do that in today's industry environment, you will do well. You'll do very well. And properly handle issues. This one's important. So I think I mentioned this earlier, always do to others as you'd want done to you. Have you ever bought a product from someone or purchased a service and something came up and you feel like they're fighting you and like, why am I getting this resistance? I feel awkward, there's a problem, I expressed it, and I feel like they're reprimanding me when I'm the one who paid them for the product or service. That happens. If someone pays you, if they buy a product, you're the agent, it is your responsibility to communicate to them effectively. If they become upset with something, perhaps it's miscommunication, that's usually what it is, but if they get upset over something, do not get defensive. This happens so much in the industry. Client's right. Even if they're wrong, they're right. Agree with them, understand, make sure you listen, understand what they're saying, and then go over, address the situation calmly. This is very, very important. Exactly how you would want it addressed. Do not argue with them. Accommodate every time. They're trying to understand the product. This is their money that you're working with. It's important they work hard to accumulate it. We've got to always recall that. Do not be negative and remember the good. When you first get a client, remember how good it was? Hey, they bought fast, they put that money in, you guys loved each other, you said, hey, I like that guy. A year later, he says, hey, like, what's going on here? This isn't what I thought, or something's different. Uh-oh. And he keeps on texting you all the time, asking questions. You say, oh, this person again. No. If you're frustrated, there is a very, very high likelihood that they are frustrated too. So we want to make sure that we communicate to them in the exact same way we'd want to be communicated with. Make it easy, make it comfortable for them, provide them all the information. If they want to go through it slow and have a full recap, do that. If they want quick answers, provide quick answers. And if you say, Steve, I can't answer this question quickly, well, answer it quickly for them and then say, hey, there's definitely more bullet points that I want to touch on. I can send you that if you'd like. This way you've got the full picture, just to make sure that you've got a full understanding. I'd want to see it, putting yourself in their shoes. So with these items, client's right, big one, do not argue with them. Of all of these, that's the thing. Do not argue and don't be negative. This happens if you're helping a client out, if you've got to take several extra steps. Don't ever, and I only say this because I see it all the time, don't ever do it reluctantly, especially where they can sense it. Has anyone ever done that to you, where you ask for help and they're like, it's going to be a big project. You want me to do that? Oh, no, don't do that kind of stuff, because then they are not going to want to ask you for help again. They might even, when they go to purchase a product again, reach out to someone else because they don't like that feeling that they have when they approach you. Like, we've got to be careful of that kind of stuff. It can happen so much in the industry. And then this one, don't argue with them. If a client asks you the question, this one, how much do you make off of this deal? What's the commission you would make? Answer them. Be straight up. If you're designing the policy properly for maximum cash value, that commission is probably minimized. But be straight up with it. If you're not, the client, you risk losing the deal and walking away with zero. And we don't want to be stubborn saying, well, that's all right, I'd rather have zero than not get the amount I want. It's not about you. It's about the client. Serve the client. Help them first. Everything else will fall in line. So I do hope that this video was helpful as far as tips and bullet points and such. If you have any questions, reach out anytime. I hope this helps. We'll talk to you soon. Hey guys, Steve Parisi here. If you enjoyed the content you just saw, please subscribe, like, and hit the notification bell for future videos. If you'd like more information or to see some custom policies for yourself, feel free to call or email our offices at the contact information below.